My Jimmy Swaggart crusade story.
Oh, I can't wait to hear these. I love hearing these now. I love hearing them.
This is the truth. So your grandfather was either in Mobile or Pensacola, which both of those are an hour from our house. I was like between 1 and 2 years old.
Oh my goodness.
So my mom, my dad, and some of their friends are walking there in the Civic Center there. And one of the ushers is walking them trying to find a seat. I've heard this story from my mom, my dad, the family that was with them. They get near the front of the platform. Your grandfather is standing.
Yeah.
As most people would know, I guess they would do praise and worship, then he would come out.
He would come out.
And so he's standing doing his thing, and he noticed them. And your grandfather tells that usher, he said, "Sir," he said, "would you get that lady with that baby and those people and bring them up here on the stage?"
Oh, wow.
He said, "Set them up here." He said, "There's no need, and you keep walking around."
Oh, wow.
And of course, we were always, my parents were, and then I grew up listening, but I thought that's the coolest story.
You know, my grandfather was known for doing stuff like that. People don't realize, how kind that he was.
Yeah.
I'll give you a story on
Sure.
that. Right down the road here, there's a place called Life Share Center. It's you draw blood and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I went there to release, donate some blood, whatever it was. And a lady that was working there at the time, she saw my license. Of course, I had to show it to her, and she said, "Swaggart." She said, it was right after my grandfather passed, and she said, "Are you related to Brother Swaggart?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she started crying. And I said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, "Well, nobody knows, and nobody will ever know this. But I was working at McDonald's, just right down the road here. I was a single mom. I had nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. I had some relatives that they were able to put their kids in your school at Family Christian Academy, right across the street.
Yeah.
And I wanted my daughter to have a good education.
Sure.
I wanted my daughter to have a good private school education, a good Christian education, because the
Right.
public schools around here, they're awful.
I
I
understand.
mean, every one of them here in the city of Baton Rouge are failing grades, all of them. And so she's like, I have no prospects. I have no hope, nothing. She said, your grandfather would come through McDonald's every single morning to get a biscuit, and that was his routine. And she said, I was behind the counter, and I knew it the moment that when I would ask, can I take your order through the window? When I hear his voice, I know it was him.
Wow.
And she said, I just want to take a chance. And when he pulled around, she asked him, she said, Brother Swaggart, you don't know me. But she told him her story. I'm a single mom.
Yeah.
My daughter's got no prospects. She was, I think, 5 or 6 at the time. And she said, I want my daughter to have a good education, but I can't afford it. I just want to take a shot. Is there any way that maybe I'll pay for it little by little, as much as I can, but I want my daughter to go to FCA for a little bit. Our grandfather looked at her and said, when do you get off work? She told him, come by my office.
Wow.
She sat down, and of course she's nervous.
Yeah.
She walked into the office and sat down across from my grandfather. And she's just shaking. And she said that your grandfather listened to my story, picked up a phone, called the academy,
Wow.
and said, enroll this young daughter and allow them to pay very little, because I want them to be there.
Wow.
And when she told me that, and I started crying, she started crying, and she told me, she said, Gabe, nobody will ever know the kind of person, the kind of man that he was. I don't know him.
Yeah.
But I knew him from that.
Yeah.
And that one moment made an impact on my life.
Yeah.
And I sat there and listened to that, and there's been so many stories throughout the years that people have come and they've shared their stories, kind of like what you just shared, that nobody will ever know.
Sure. Sure.
Nobody will ever know, but nobody would ever really know the man that he was.
Yeah.